Hey guys, this is the video for days 6 through probably 10. I've lost track of the exact number of days. I've been slacking on producing videos to show my development progress, but I've added in quite a bit. Um, Initially, I had a AAA turret that was pretty rough looking. Let's see, it looked like this, and it would always shoot straight at the airplane, and it was pretty ugly. So I realized that as soon as I started building the tank, that the functionality of shooting at targets was pretty much the same thing between the AAA cannon and the AAA tank. And I realized that they both have turrets. So rather than reproducing the same code over and over again for a whole bunch of different objects, um, I would just create one turret that can be a modular object that I can attach to any type of object. So the beauty is I have this weapon platform right here that's kind of a stationary platform, and I can also have a tank, which is a mobile platform. And I can switch between anti-aircraft and tanks just by, let's see, why didn't that work? Great, I have a bug. Well, it seems to work there. It's probably a construction script problem. Anyway, ignoring all that. This is definitely still a work in progress, but it's starting to look pretty cool. I ran into an interesting and challenging engineering problem, which I would like to show you guys. So this has to do with target interception. So let's say that this piece right here is our anti-aircraft artillery gun, and it is trying to shoot an airplane which is moving through the sky at a fixed velocity. The airplane position is represented by this blue circle, and its future positions in 1 second increments would be indicated by these purple circles. So at time t0, the plane is here. Time t1, it's here. Time t2, it's there. t3, t4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So the dilemma is that if the anti-aircraft gun shoots directly at the airplane in its current instance in time, the projectile will have a time of flight that it takes for that projectile to arrive at that target. By the time the projectile arrives at the target has already moved, and it will be somewhere else along this line. The other issue is that if we have a AAA shell that is being shot, we want it to explode as close to our target as possible so that we create that area of effect damage. That means we have to be setting a timed fuse to explode at t plus x, where x is the time of flight to arrive at the target. So we have to calculate when this projectile will actually arrive where the target is going to be, and then set the fuse accordingly. This value is not going to be a fixed value. It's going to be a function based off of the distance from the gun to the target. So the closer to the gun that the target is, the less time that you have to put onto the fuse. So if we say that this line has a length of 1000 and our projectile is traveling at 500 meters per second, it will take 2 seconds for the projectile to arrive right here. So if we just write these details down, let's do that in black. The time of flight, TOF, is 2, and the distance, let's call it D, is 1000. So the fuse would be something like 1000, or no, not 1000, but 2 seconds. However, by the time the projectile arrives at this location, the airplane will be here at this location. So instead of aiming at this location, what we should do is lead the target and aim at this position, right? So let's use a different color. Let's use let's use orange. So what we really want to do is figure out this position right here and aim at that. And then we also need to find the time of flight for that and the distance. So that turns out to be a pretty hard problem to solve, relatively speaking, because you're going to be looking at the velocity of this airplane right here, and if it's a linear velocity, it would be right here at time 2, but if you aim straight here, then you're going to be ahead of the target instead of right on the target. So if you were going to be like extremely precise, the actual location of the airplane would probably be like right here instead of right here. So if you wanted to be crazy, you could like loop through this like 20 times to get an extremely precise airplane position. But we don't really care about that. This is just a game. It's not real science. So we're also going to be having like a dispersion pattern in this vicinity anyway, rather than directly on the airplane. So here is what it would look like. I've got this target drone right up here that is just moving back and forth, and our turret will be tracking it, and it will be taking the velocity of a target and doing the lead position to try to shoot and set its fuse timings to burst right where the target is. So here's what it looks like. So that red circle is the anticipated location of the target, and the blue sphere is the target itself. So our turret is actually aiming at the red circle, and by the time the projectile arrives, it is on top of the blue circle, which is the aircraft itself. And you can see that this is, even though this airplane is moving at a constant speed, the distance between the blue circle and the red circle will be variable based off of the distance to the turret, which indicates that it's got a shorter time of flight. So what's really interesting is that this seems to be very accurate. Look at that. It's exploding just almost right on target, except for when it instantly turns around. I was pretty excited by that. I also got a pretty cool sound effect. So when this guy turns, watch, it's got some dead space, so it does a yaw and plays this cool sound effect. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll probably have a lot more to show later, so thanks for watching.